Miss Ware, do you have a written lease with Mr. Willis?
No, Your Honor, the lease is just strictly in my name.
Okay, no oral agreement for him to stay either?
No, outside of me feeling sorry for him, allow him to stay there with me.
Okay, and by the way, Mr. Willis, can you just lower the camera? All I can really see is the top of your head. I'm gonna be 100. There you, or at least, yeah, so I can see your face. All right. Did you guys ever have any agreement about him paying you any monies to stay there?
Yes, he did help me with the bills, with the rent. I bail the landlord every month. The landlord also wants him to be removed from the property. One, because his name is not on the lease. Two, is because she was getting reports from neighbors about the traffic that was in and out of the house. I didn't find out about that.
Hold tight. And I always tell people, it doesn't mean that I'm not concerned about what you're telling me, but I try to make sure I address all the procedural issues first before we get really deep into those facts. Okay. Just hold tight. Okay. So I know you said that he had been paid. So a couple of things. One, on your complaint, you've identified that he's a tenant at Sufferance, that you had no agreement, but so let me ask you this. When did he move in?
Oh God, October. I want to say the middle of October.
Okay, and he moved, you let him move in under what agreement or understanding?
That he helped me with the bills. He didn't have anywhere to go. He was my boyfriend.
I got it.
Of course,
I got it. Yeah. We ain't gotta go that. That's fine. So he said that. So So he stayed there. Has been there since October. You're saying he's a tenant at Sufferance. He'll help pay on the bills at some point, and then now you're saying you want him to go. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, because I feel my life. I can't even be at the property. My life is in danger. Mr. Willis pulled out a gun on me. He would not leave the house because he feels like, because he has helped me with the bills, he's entitled to live there. Everything.
So let me tell you some interesting thing about Georgia law that you may or may not know. And so I want to use this as a way to make sure that you know, because I can tell that you may not know based upon how things are kind of going. One, when you move somebody in, right, that doesn't automatically make them a tenant. But I always remind folks that you don't necessarily have to have something that is very succinct and clear, like a regular rental agreement for somebody to become a tenant. Okay, they can just pay bills. It can be what's called a gratuitous tenancy, where it's not really based on money, it's based on actions, or you just want them there, right? And so if you want this person to leave, you just can't say, oh, you no longer my tenant. You never, like, for instance, a tenant of Sufferance is very common when somebody had a lease and then they ain't renewed a lease and they ain't never took no money. It's time for you to go. It's a tenant of Sufferance. Or not tenant of Sufferance. That's where it's expired. Or the person's gotten foreclosed on, right? And they don't no longer really have any authority to be there. But this gentleman had some authority to be there. He didn't get foreclosed on, right? You just want him to go. So then that's fine. So it's not non-payment, right? He had no lease. So the other thing is, well, then did you give him notice that you wanted him to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
What notice did you? What notice did you give?
This is why we came down to this. The night that we got into it, when he pulled the pistol on me, I asked him to go that night. The police was called the very next day. The police was called again.
Hold on, Mr. Willis. I've told you don't do that. Go ahead, man.
It's the reason, Your Honor, I had to file is because he wouldn't leave after I asked him so many times to leave the house. He wouldn't leave.
I got that. And the police didn't arrest him, I take it.
No, they told me I had to file. They told me I had to file and get him removed, and that's what I did.
All right. So let me give you guys both some information before I proceed on. All right. Dispossessories, I know when you want people to go and they tell you file, it ain't that simple. In dispossessory, there are things that you have to do before you can even exercise the right to file, like demanding possession and putting that 3-day letter on the door, right? If you didn't do that, it don't matter what you did, the case is gonna get dismissed. He's alleged that you didn't do that, but we're not even gonna get into that. The other thing is, when you don't have a written lease agreement and you're trying to essentially establish that you want them to go, there's usually a 60-day notice that's required, right? And I know that's frustrating because that seems like a lot of time, but when you don't set down clear terms of an agreement, you are essentially telling yourself you're going to do common law. And the common law in Georgia is when somebody stays there and they were ultimately like a tenant, they paying you money, they staying there, even if it's somewhat gratuitous in the sense that you guys maybe were together and now y'all not together, and it happens all the time. You have to give people the appropriate notice. If you didn't give them the 60-day notice, especially when you're not having agreements about monthly rent, then I don't have the authority to give you what you want. So did you give him a 60-day notice?
I have through text message. The night that he pulled out the pistol on me, I asked him to leave the premises. Listen,
this is a court of law. So text messages are cool for certain things, but they're not cool for establishing appropriate notice for. I understand. So listen, let me tell you so you can not mess up again, because you're not going to get what you want tonight. So you might want to listen to me so you may be able to do what you want to do later. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what the law is. You understand? The law is if you don't give them a 60-day notice and they moved in and this was your gratuitous or whatever, then I can't get him to be evicted. If you don't give the 3-day notice, I can't get him to be evicted. Now, I understand you're saying he pulled the strap out on you and you feel fearful and you can't be there, but unless there's a TPO or some type of other thing, that ain't how it works. So I'm telling you that because these are all the reasons why I can't give you what you want this evening. Now, those all can be corrected, but I can't correct them post you filing. You understand? Now, let me tell this to Mr. Willis. I'm not believing. I don't know exactly whether or not Miss Ware is telling the complete truth or not, brother. I don't know, right? I wasn't there that night. I don't know. All I know is she said that she don't want you there no more. So all I'm saying,
she's trying to win, so she's like going for the.
I'm good.
This ain't that kind of place. I'm just explaining to you that, sir, I always like to tell people, particularly when there's a relationship that has gone sour or something, so that people understand the consequence of not doing what I say. If you don't do what I say and you guys continue to live in turmoil or whatever, I'm sure things will go a lot worse than what they already have. Don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to do that. And so I'm just saying, consider that. If this is her place and you don't have a lease and you don't really have any reason to be there because y'all aren't together any longer, you really may be causing yourself harm. I've seen people go to jail over that. I would hate for either one of you to go to jail over this because y'all can't figure it out. I say that because there may be some delay until you get to me again. And I know people oftentimes get into it in between time. Don't get into it, because if you do, you might have a different place where you're residing, down there off of Memorial. You understand? So I'm going to let you guys go because, ma'am, you did not give those appropriate notices. Feel free to, if you want to, you can refile. It's up to you. But if you don't do the appropriate things, it won't matter. Mr. Ellis, yes. Mr. Willis, yes, sir.
Yes. With the water situation, is it against the law for her to turn the water, running water out?
No. So let me tell you that as well, Miss Ware. I understand you live there. I understand that you don't want this. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell her the law. Miss Ware, you cannot turn the utilities off if you're alleging that this man is living there as well. You don't tell me. Listen, I know you say you don't live there. That's retaliation. Listen to me. I don't know I'm just telling you. Listen, I'm not going to hear no more of your case. I'm just telling you so that you guys can know. If you've cut the water off or any of the utilities, that's not okay. I understand that you're saying, well, you may or may not live there, but that's not okay. I understand you like, dang, I don't even like him no more. He get to use all my tins and I got to pay. But this is the risk when you move people in. And it's not about, I don't want people to be nice, but understand the consequence.
Right.
But I'm going to let you guys go this evening. All right?
I didn't pay the rent anyway. I'm not turning
the case is going to be dismissed.
Nothing. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can you guys listen? Do you think I really want to hear any more of this back and forth banter? Thank you.
Get the water back on, though?
You can call the police, but she should be turning the water back on, sir. That's just a fact. Okay.
How many days can I give her? Tomorrow, a day or two, or what?
You turn the water back on ASAP.
Okay. Well, she need to do that. Then I have to call the cops again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And
Mr. Willis, thank you. You have a good evening.
Right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.